Segun Sowunmi has declared his intention to vie for the Ogun governorship seat next year under the People's Democratic Party. Sowunmi declared his ambition to contest the election in the state at Panseke area of Abeokuta, south of the state. I hope I got that name correctly. Well, he says the inability of the PDP to claim victory in the state is as a result of the party's internal issues, and is urging all members of the party to jettison their personal interests and work for the progress of the party. Sowunmi, who was the former spokesperson of the presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2019 election, Atiku Abubakar, also says he will prosecute all those who have governed the state and plundered its resources. He has expressed worry that the state had been plunged into debt, saying it will require a new administrator to renegotiate the debt. But for more on this, I'm being joined by Segun Sowunmi, who is a governorship aspirant, again, under the People's Democratic Party in southwest Nigeria, Ogun State. Thank you so much for being on the horizon today. Great to see you again.
It's nice to see you too.
So, let's have a conversation.
Okay.
You want to be governor of Ogun State?
Yes.
How long have you had this ambition? Why?
Okay, I think that I've always wanted to be part of a process that brings the best of us forward. And I've been on this journey for a very long time. I came back from England in '99. I've been living in Abeokuta. Even though I grew up in a house on Allen Avenue, which is still there. My thinking was that you can't want to represent or serve people unless you know them. And it's not enough to say, I come from there. You need to really know them. And look at how long it's been between 1999 till date. And over those years, I've been part of the process. All I've always ever wanted to do is just keep pushing the best people forward and see what they can do. But after a while, I began to see that, okay, am I running away from the responsibility that I want to put others through? But I think I answered the question when it became clear to me that I was scared of losing. And it took me a couple of years to be able to recognize that if you contest and you don't win, you're not going to die. I'm that competitive. And as soon as I crossed that hurdle, I then began to see a why now. And the reason why it's important now is that, number one, I don't like the trajectory the democracy is taking.
Okay.
Although I accept that governors are important in political parties, I think that governors shouldn't be bigger than the party. And then I felt that if I become a governor, I might be able to use my ways of showing that the party is still bigger than me to set about a new way of doing things. That's the first one. The second is that I want Ogun, where I come from, to have a conversational and dialogue situation around the 2023 election that could inspire younger people. Most people don't even talk about any ideas. They just run with buzzword. And then more importantly, I was not happy, and I am still not happy with where we're going when I began to compare us with other locations, especially locations where we had boastfully in error assumed that we were better than, we're Yorubas, and we can generally be a bit of chip over our shoulders when it comes to our early embrace of education. I visited Uyo, it's way cleaner than us, and I saw that, come on, no, we need to work on ourselves. So I think that the time is ripe. In any case, it's democracy. The incumbent, I guess, is going to have first right of refusal in his party, but the contest must be such that we can challenge him. For you to challenge any incumbent, there are three things you need to worry about. You need to worry about the numbers. Where are the numbers? You need to worry about the science. What's the science that can make it happen? Of course, you also have to worry about the money. I'm tops on numbers because I come from the location where they have the biggest votes. I'm tops on science. No one has ever put in as much narrative as I am putting now, either before or after me, in trying to be governor.
And the money?
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Well, you seem to have done your research well, but you also know that money is very important. We'll come to the money conversation in a bit. But two issues you've raised in the conversation you've had so far, your party issues. Has the PDP overcome those challenges? Because we remember how, the scuffle cost your party in the last election with factional chairmen, factional sides, with the late Kashamu, and of course, we also had the Adebutu on the other side. How has the PDP overcome that in Ogun State?
Well, it's unfortunate that every time you talk about the ESCO, you talk about personalities that are participating around the ESCO.
They make the news. They drive the party.
That's where the problem is. I believe that people can come in and contribute whatever they can because everybody is contributing their little pennies. I believe that an ESCO must be above board. And I think that we're not where we want to be, but we're way past where we used to be. For instance, all of the people who are contesting, my very worthy brother, Otuba Jimmy Lawal, Ladi Adebotu, the man you mentioned, and my good self, we've all subscribed to buying the forms from the National PDP office. We all went to Ibadan, to the zonal office to do our screening, and I believe that we're all going to go and, meet the electorate. The first the delegate, then the electorate. The most important thing for me is the process. Because of the intrinsic nature of democracy, for me, the big promise of democracy is that democracy tells you and I that if we have an aspiration, we can dare. But if we don't have the courage to dare, we're going to have a situation on our hands where we're going to reduce democracy to some kind of monarchical system where we only enthrone the rich or the children of the rich. And that is the main reason why, in the first instance, we brought democracy. Democracy is supposed to give people of ideas an opportunity to come forward. And that's what we're doing. So we're better now. It's not perfect. People like to take undue advantage of political parties. And I'll use an event to explain it to you how it played out in our party. There are delegates that we all have to try and pull. Mr. A bought got delegates, he hoarded the form. Mr. B bought his own and kept them. You know what I did? When I got mine, I just told the party people, come take your delegate. And they asked me, why am I on nervous? And I keep saying to them, one must use his action to practice what he preaches. I don't want to own the party. I don't want a skewed election for me. I want to represent the party and the citizens of Ogun State in a fair, in a free, and in a transparent.
It's interesting when you say you don't want to own the party, because what we see play out in politics in Nigeria is the governors like to claim to be the leaders of the party in the state. So should you be voted the governor, you then own the party in Ogun State when it comes to the PDP.
No, I won't. You see, if you remember, if you're a little bit familiar with what happened in 1979 to 83, the last democratic experiment, we have the situation where presidents deferred to their party chairman in truth and in practice. And governors did not make themselves owners of parties. Of course, they support parties via patronage and all that. But you see, I'm afraid that the way we're going about this democracy, where a little worm will crawl on his stomach, go meet party delegates, ask them for their form or their mandate. 5 minutes before, you're crawling on your belly like I'm crawling on my belly to beg them now. And then I get their mandate. You go to the electorate, you crawl on your belly, you get their mandate, and then you become their boss. I can't rationalize that. I think that anyone who understands what service and leadership is about will worry about a process that is not sustainable. Why? It's part of the reason why you're not having ideological strong parties. Because if a governor owns the party today, then the party will appear according to the idiosyncrasies of the governor. What if it happens to change tomorrow? So over time, we need to be depositing a little bit less of ourselves in the interference of party management, because democracy is all we've got for now. We've not invented anything better, and we have to sustain it.
Interesting. Another issue you've raised is this prosecution of past administrations found culpable of corruption. How exactly do you want to go about this?
Well, you see, I had asked myself often.
And is it just the previous, should you win, would it be the erstwhile administration of Dakwa Abiodun, or you're going way back to 1999? No,
I've asked myself often, why is it that in Nigeria, we tend to pretend as if we don't know that those who have been given responsibility to manage us in democracy are stealing us blind? Now, and why is that everyone, after the next man comes, and the next man comes, and the next man comes, and we drag the Buhari out of retirement to come and help us fix corruption, but it's not going? You know what I discovered? What? I discovered that there are no absolute sure consequences. And unless you have a process where people can be absolutely clear and sure that there are consequences for having the trust of the people and abusing it, we will not drop this habit. So I intend to say, okay, I don't have time for spending all of my time looking for anti-corruption and all of that. No. Set up a strong enough pan-Ogun, panel. Instruct them to look for abuse of office and our money, and just get them to be ruthless in getting it back and punishing them. Why? If I do that, I want to assume that I've set the basis by which that will be done to me, and that will then be the check to prevent me from all such nonsense. Look, if you quantify all our budgets previous, you quantify all the monies that donor agencies have given us, you quantify all of the private sector money that has come into our space, and you look at the debts we have, and you look at the infrastructure, and you look at our human capital and all of it, you have to ask the question, where is the money?
So you set up this committee. I'm just trying to understand how
it works.
So you set up this committee because we do have anti-graft agencies, the ICPC and the EFCC. And of course, we are a democracy. There's the rule of law, which is a tenet of democracy. Would you subject them to the law, or what
if the federal government can improve the administration of criminal justice for the federal, I believe that one of the ethos of federalism is that we can then, as a state, also institute and write an improved administration of criminal justice for the purposes of Ogun. In which case, at least with Ogun laws, we will prosecute you. There is no law that says you have to always wait for EFCC to come help you chase the thief you can see in your home. You might as well have your own laws, and you might prosecute them. They can run everywhere they want to run to go and get injunctions and all that. But we're going to make sure that just by that process, everybody understands that public till and public responsibility is not a place you come to come and be rich. Neither is it a place you come and pay your previous debts. Neither is it a place you come to come and start buying aircraft. It's embarrassing, and time is no longer on our side. So we must be firm, we must be deliberate, and we must be sincere, hoping that brother governors, if I do win, will copy that. There's no point in expecting the man sitting in Abuja to come and clean the whole stable for us. Well,
speaking of time, let's quickly run through some of these questions I'm sure people are dying to know about. Politics of inclusion.
Yes.
Democracy, with all its abiding principle, is actually a concept of inclusion.
Absolutely.
Look at it. When it comes to Ogun State, there's the argument of, is it a tripod or is it a four legs? When you're talking about the Yewa, Awori people, you're talking about the Egba people, or you're talking about the Ijebu people. There's a clamor, there's a growing call that the Yewa, Awori people have not produced the governor, and it should be their turn next. You are from Egba. Don't you think that there should be politics of inclusion in Ogun State, and the Yewa people should produce the next governor?
I've answered this question on the national scale concerning zoning. Let me just bring you home. In 1999, the People's Democratic Party, the party I want to run under, gave his ticket to Jibril Martin Square of Belgrade Memory, and Ijebu man, he didn't win. In 2003, we gave it to Daniel, and Ijebu man, he won. In 2007, we extended the second time, Ijebu man, he won. In 2011, there was a scuffle between Boyega Isaka and Olurin. Olurin got it, Olurin didn't win. In 2015, we made it good for Jenna, gave him the ticket for PDP, he didn't win. In 2019, we gave the ticket to Buruji Kashamowo, he got the ticket and he didn't win. The question then gets to be asked, will the people of Ogun Central, my people, be part of a political party that keeps skipping them? We don't have to accept that the only time people from the Egba stock will challenge for power, we have to run into opposition. No. Zoning and such issues are purely party issues. And in any case, in Ogun, we all recognize that it's the Yoruba people deserve to be helped.
Deserve to be helped?
Yes, because it's democracy.
To produce the governor?
No, we've given them the ticket. They even won. I think the last time Amusun, the former governor, Senator Amusun, tried to do it, he didn't win. So it's not like we've been excluding them from the ticket. They've just not been able to produce the numbers. Now, but in the case of PDP and me, I told you have to look at the numbers. The present governor is from Ijebu stock.
Yes.
Shall we truly think we can challenge him from the same house? Unless we're going to say, okay, it's democracy and then we're not going to be part of the game, let's just go and play. The place where we have to go and challenge him is with the Egba stock, where we can give a good push, and hopefully we'll, in any case, I have never tried to be any of those parochial sectional people. I'm running on behalf of all of Ogun, and I believe that I'll do well for all of Ogun.
Do you think the PDP is strong enough to upstage the ruling APC? And talking about the APC, the incumbent governor has just picked up his forms yesterday, so he's running again. Can the PDP upstage the APC? Do you have the numbers to face Dakwa Abiodun?
I think that without being unnecessarily boastful, I think that the numbers are with us here, with me. Because Dakwa Abiodun will come from the Jebu stock. You will get some numbers. Without a doubt, he will get some numbers in Egba. And with the effort I see in Yiwa, he'll get some numbers. So where then are we going to put the challenge? We already have 45% of the numbers, in case everybody got parochial. And we can also get numbers in Ijebu because it's PDP. We're a long-standing party, and we can get numbers in Yiwa. In any case, the Ogun people are going to ask critical questions of themselves. Have they felt safer? Have they felt that the commander or the person in charge has been proactive around that? They will have to mark him. Have they felt that, you know, in Ogun, we send a text to the governor, he replies. We're used to the governor calls us, let's meet and just argue and talk, and everybody goes there. We're used to running governance as a family.
Is that the kind of government you run?
Absolutely. Dakwa doesn't want to talk to anybody. He's not, I mean, people are saying they've never even heard him speak on radio, even attend to journalists, question and answers and all that. Well, so I think we will beat him.
We've had the governor on the Arise.
Yeah, he was here on the Arise. During
so he does speak.
That was during the campaign in Abuja.
Well, he does
you need to be speaking at home.
We've had him before then, but this is about you.
Okay.
Let's talk about the money politics. Okay. Money is important.
Yes.
And you're not sure if you have the money.
No, I have. Listen. No. I said that.
Do you have the deep pockets? And if you don't, do you have a godfather who's going to sponsor you?
Well, as democracy improves or continues to extend itself or endures, we will have to start looking at some of those big elephants that we need to throw out of the room. One of them is democracy about the procurement of the right of the people so you can lead them, or is democracy about requesting the right of the people to lead them so you can manage the resources? I think we're tilting dangerously to an idea that, oh, you have to come and buy the people, and then you have to try and then be governor after buying the people. And you know the funny thing, we've never had a government contest in Ogun that the richest man won. Ogun has never been for sale. Ogun will never be for sale. And even on this occasion, it won't be for sale. By the time we get to the contest, other things will play a role. But we won't come there empty-handed. We'll bring a reasonable amount of money. We'll bring enough money to be able to get us to win. We've bought the forms, we've done everything we needed to do, and we've not missed on any of the checklists.
Well, the APC is saying 100 million naira for a ticket is reasonable. I don't know what reasonable is to you, but it's not really about buying the people. When it comes to elections and spendings, you're talking about party agents, you're talking about campaigns.
We can do all that.
And all of that.
I was Director General of Jonathan Sambo in 2011. And in 2011, I was DJ of the campaign. Some other guy, the guy who is now in the ambassador to Britain, was DJ of the state campaign. They lost everywhere. I won. And I tried to tell the PDP then that, look, ultimately, you need money for campaigns, you need for media, you need for all of those big envelope projects. But you don't really need money to get people to vote. In fact, I'm working on a study that money we actually deploy 42 hours, 72 hours before the election. I'm beginning to think that it's actually intrusive. Because you put the money into the hands of one leader, and for the next 48 hours, you're just going to be hearing complaints. They stole the money. They didn't give me. Blah, and that's not it. The numbers you need to win is not the numbers you can procure. Whatever amount of money, 2 billion, 3 billion, you're going to put on the table, how many people can you buy? And if we then go into the contest, I'm in the contest for 3 things. One, if I win, to go and give them a new deal, a different type of paradigm around leadership. The second, if we don't win, okay, we'll see how it goes and then try. But more importantly, which is my main thing, is to inspire a next generation of people with the quality of the conversation around the debates on issues. I want us to use my contest in Ogun to bring issues to the table. I want to ask the governor, what's going on with you with security? Why are people killing themselves even in school? I want to ask him, what's your plan on out-of-school children? I want to ask him, why is there a lot of poverty there? These are the things I want us to talk about. Okay. But if we reduced it to only, I got the son of a rich man. Nah, that cannot be it.
Interesting. Very quickly.
Yeah.
Is Atiku Abubakar going to fund your campaigns? You've worked for him.
Well, let me speak.
What role is he playing? Very quickly.
You know, I think Atiku is some interesting Democrat.
Yes.
I think he looks at me with a bit of amazement because he's not funded anything.
Is he supporting you?
He will. I mean, he can't, but you know, be emotionally connected with me. But
just emotionally?
Yeah, no. He's not going to be able to start supporting me now. He's not giving me any money if that's the question you're asking. Okay. But what I know he must be doing is he must be amazed that, oh, Segun, that's not bad. You're giving him all of this push. I trust you. Let's see how far you go.
You sound very confident.
And at the right time, I'm sure he will support. And Governor Wike will do the same. Most of them will.
Oh, I like that you're mentioning
I have bled for this party as a loyal and dedicated party man.
Great.
It's payback time now. Our leaders will support. I believe that.
Okay. I have 2 questions and we have about 2 minutes.
Okay.
First is that you are sounding very confident. You don't have your party ticket yet. You have 2 gentlemen running alongside you, Jimmy Lawal and Oladipupo Adebutu, who you've mentioned in the
I mentioned both of them.
Yes, but what are your chances against them?
First of all, let's start with Ladi.
Very quickly.
That is formidable, but it's also beatable. Jimmy Lawal, I like. You know, for me, you have to connect with me intellectually. I got to be able to tell my son that that's my leader. But he's new to the party. All of them have been going and coming. Ladi, for instance, was not even in the party at the last contest.
We've seen new entrants into political parties hold strong positions.
I haven't got a problem with that. But what I'm saying is that shall the members of the party that have been standing loyal for the party, that understand the ideology of the party, suddenly just shift? So I have a duty to represent those of us that have been in the party. And let's go see how the people who are also the party members, how they decide. The delegates are mainly members of our party, who are also long-standing members of party. So the question I'll ask them to answer is, when the chips are down, who can you call? Who do you know? And who can you just knock his door and he'll open it?
I was going to ask you about, great. I was going to ask you about the PDP and zoning when it comes to the national. Very quickly, Mr. Sowunmi, because we have to go. You've referred to zoning in Ogun State as parochial, like 2 times in the course of this conversation.
I said I wasn't running on any of those zoning things. Even
so though are you against zoning? And should the PDP jettison zoning?
You know, I think the problem with the PDP is that, or Nigeria, so to speak, is that there are seasons and there are times in the affairs of nation. Just like there are tides in the life of man that he must ride. Where we are now, for the PDP, we've been fair to all the zones. We've gone left, we've gone right, we've been back. There are 3 zones we've never gone to in PDP. We've not gone to the southeast, we've not gone to the northeast, we've not gone to the north center. So if they clamor, I get. But we've been to the south-south, we've been to the southwest, and we've been to the northwest with Yaradua and all that. Therefore, and in the PDP, we've spent a longer time in the south, Jonathan and Obasanjo. We barely spent time in the north with Yaradua, who died. So it's a bit clumsy for us. But what is more important for us right now is that we are at such a tipping point in our country where we must reasonably look for someone that can get the job done without disparaging the capacity of others. I just feel a whole lot safer with Atiku Abubakar. Why?
No surprises.
Because I couldn't have been pushing him to the Nigerian people the last time out. And if I had seen anything that has dramatically changed, save for this on academic conversation around who should be zoned and who should not be zoned, which is also eligible coming from the northeast, like my own definition. I can't imagine how I could have been all forceful about him without any change in anything. He's not ill, he's still sharp. I still checked him out, I still look for his reflexes, I still engage him on issues. How do I tell myself that everything I did 4 years ago was a lie? So as far as Atiku is in the race, that's my first call. I have a few other calls, but they need to come and pay me to come and start doing the campaign for them.
Well, thank you so much, Segun Sowunmi. We do wish you the best with your quest to become Ogun's next governor.
Thank you. You will love it. You will love the campaign.